Show me a hill I can climb. Give me a mountain to move, and I'll prove that it's a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror, and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day. I woke up early this morning with gloom on my head. Had a big feeling to climb back in bed. Then I looked in the mirror and somebody said, wake up, wake up. It's time for you to lose the blues, and this is a very special treat. Tell it to everyone you meet, that life is all for living and love is all for giving. So this is a very special day. Tell it to everyone along the way that this is a very special day.
Very special day we have. It is finally Friday. That means my partner in crime, my host this morning is Laura Lee. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Becky. Happy New
Year's Eve. I was
Yay.
thinking of, was it Harry Connick Jr.? What are you doing New Year's Eve? Is it New Year's Eve or is it Christmas Eve? Maybe it's,
I don't know.
That's been playing in my head. But in my head, I say New Year's Eve.
We can say New Year's Eve.
Yeah, what are you doing New Year's Eve? All right, we're going to talk about that. We've also got a special guest going to be calling in. And I don't know, I thought it was very interesting. And he wrote a book, and we're going to find out his Jim Lawman. And it looks like we're going to be finding out 50 ways to love wine more. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll find out about that. But Laura, let's thank our sponsors.
Absolutely. We have Walmart, Meadowview Healthcare, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, Skyline Suites, Kentucky Anna Cat and Core, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, and Fox Purley Wealth Management.
Yay. Thank you to our sponsors. And Laura, I went bowling yesterday at Tennessee for the bowl game.
How
Yay.
exciting.
Oh, it was just, it was like so exciting. And I was so happy for Purdue. They worked their tail ends off. It was, we were down on the field, and it was really pretty cool, though. Those coaches, they're very motivated.
Absolutely.
They're very much a motivator. Yeah, let me just use that, okay? I started to film it, thought, no, I'm not going to. Just let them keep motivating.
Absolutely. Hey, they got the job done.
Absolutely. And that's what, you want a coach that's passionate.
Absolutely.
And there was a lot of passion. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of passion going on. Yeah, so I love that. And hats off to Purdue Boilermakers, and made the trip back to Indiana a lot more exciting and fun. And
I bet.
Yeah. It was great. And it was fun going up because you see all of these Purdue vehicles and Purdue flags. We'll talk about that in just a minute. That's I do believe we have Jim Lawler with us. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Becky. Huh?
I am wonderful. And of course, in the studio, this is Becky, but I also have Laura with me this morning, my co-host.
Good morning, Jim.
Well, hi, Laura. Great to meet you.
You too.
All right. And we are cracking up because, what some would say, the title is, how to be New Year's resolutions that you'll be happy to keep, but 50 ways to love wine more. And here's what I know. There's a lot of people looking at the radio saying, do we need 50 more reasons?
Well, we probably only need one reason, but the 50 additional reasons will just flesh out your appreciation of wine. It will really let you connect with it in many different ways. I think that too many people get a little intimidated by the wine world sometimes. Oh, am I picking the right bottle? Or, gee, I don't want to make a mistake when I select something off a wine list. And they worry about it too much. So I think the more that you know about the non-technical foolishness, the better you're just going to appreciate each and every glass of wine that you're going to enjoy this year.
Right. And let me go back to even in school, one of our home ec teachers talked about like how to pair, like what you pair red wine with, what you pair white wine with. So what is that? I cannot remember how that goes. I know one's like red meat, one's like fish, or how do you do that? How do you pair them?
I'll tell you, as far as I'm concerned, there's only one real secret to pairing food and wine, only one that you need to stick to, and that is make sure you're drinking something that you enjoy, something you like. If you don't like it, don't pair it with anything. Pair it with regifting to someone else or whatever.
There you go, Jim. Now you're on it. But okay, now is that because has the lines become blurred because years ago, like you're saying, the more etiquette was more wine was more of an
it's white wine with fish and red wine with meat, and that was a big deal. I think we've blown through that long ago. I'll tell you a couple of general things to keep in mind, maybe, is that if you're going to have a big, bold, hearty dish, then pair it with a big, bold, hearty wine, vice versa. So if you're going to have a very light piece of fish, let's say, or some scallops, or something of that nature, then go with a lighter wine, which is probably going to be a white wine, just because they won't overpower each other. If you have that light wine, that little Pinot Grigio with a big venison stew, you're not even going to taste the wine. The richness of the meat in the stew is going to overwhelm it to the point where you won't know if you're drinking water or wine. So, on the other hand, if you have a big, bold red wine of some sort, whether it's a Cabernet or whether it's a Saperavi or whether it's a Syrah, it doesn't really matter. But if you have a big, bold red wine with a big, bold stew or a big, bold cut of meat, they balance each other out, and you'll have a much better experience. But beyond that, there really aren't any rules that you have to pay too much attention to.
Okay, some of the, I'll be honest, and I think I'll let Laura answer for herself, but I don't know much about wine, to be honest.
No, me either. I know I like sweet wine, and if it's not very sweet, then I don't want it.
Yeah, but on wine, when some of the ones you were mentioning, were those, I know some of them names, or were you talking like describing the wine, or were you talking?
Well, some of those were names. Cabernet and Saperavi and Syrah are names of red grapes.
Oh, okay. See, okay, I feel so, okay. So I didn't know if those were like something that almost sounds like something hot.
Becky, we all begin somewhere.
Jim, I'm a lot to work with.
We're in preschool.
Let me point out a couple things for you guys. Number one,
ABC it.
this is for Laura especially.
Okay, go.
20% of all people, when pressed, will admit that they really prefer sweet wine. So there's nothing wrong with that. There are wonderful sweet wines in the world. And if that's what you like, then that's what you go for. And beyond that, another thing to keep in mind is that actual brain studies have shown that someone who is very knowledgeable about wine, a wine expert, does not enjoy wine any more than someone who's a complete rookie. Pleasure is equally intense. It may be of a slightly different type, but it's equally strong. So if we can take a little digression, think about music.
Okay.
Here's someone who's enjoyed listening to music their whole life. They love music. They don't know really anything about it. They don't know how to write music. They don't know how the scales are. They love music. And here's someone else who fiddles with audio equipment, who can tell you every little thing that's happening. It's the bass is increased and and the treble is here, and so on and so forth. When they sit down and listen to a piece of music, they both derive great pleasure from it. It's a little different approach, but they both derive equal levels of pleasure. So don't ever let the fact that you're a rookie in the wine world slow you down. Never.
Look at that. Boy, she's puffing up her chest. She likes that. Yeah, and she's sitting up straight. Yeah, exactly. She says, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jim, so let's go back to, okay, if you're at a table, let's say, with ladies or guys or whatever, and when you order that sweet wine, okay, I know you just kind of said that it's okay, and I get that, but like, is it down? Like, do people think, oh, I mean, is there like is that something? Because I'm with Laura, I'd have to have it sweet. I want grape juice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I guess what I'm saying is that, like, why is that done like that? Why do people look at it like that? Because, like, if you order a dessert, people don't look at you that way. But why with wine? There's almost like wine snobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way people look at you that way if you're wearing a pleated skirt and saddle shoes, because it's out of style. That's all. That's the only reason. Until the 1960s, the majority of wines produced in the United States were sweet. And you can go to many wine regions around the world that make fabulous wine, and you can look back and find that throughout most of history, most of their wines were sweet wines. Now, for some reason in the 60s, really, we got into this thing of wanting to compete with the best of the French. And so the best of the French wines, or the most available, are dry wines. And so dry became all the fashion. And then it became kind of looking down your nose at someone who wanted sweet wine. And there's no basis in anything other than trends and fashion as to sweet versus dry. Now, there are people who really like sweet and don't enjoy dry wine at all. And there are people who really like dry wine and don't enjoy sweet wine at all. So if you're at a table with people, what's wrong with ordering 2 bottles? Get a bottle of something sweet and a bottle of something dry. I'm a firm believer in variety. I don't want to slow anyone down. So if you like it this way, we'll get you one this way. If you like it that way, we'll get a bottle that goes that way. I think it's just more generous, and it allows everyone to share and enjoy the conviviality that wine can bring to us.
Well, because I actually heard some people talking, and I heard someone say, and this is exactly what she said. She said, I like it dry. She said, I had to learn. She said, I started off sweet, but I had to learn how to dry. And I think it was because of calories. Would that make sense?
No, not so much. It's not. I mean, maybe if you were drinking dessert wine, which is super sweet, but also has very high acid, so it balances and tastes very nice. And that has a lot of sugar still in it, or what we call residual sugar from the grapes that hasn't yet been converted to alcohol. But, wine, a glass of wine is going to be about 100, 120 calories a glass for, a 5-ounce pour of wine. It's not going to vary that much whether it's a sweet wine or not a sweet wine, really. Certainly not enough to make any big difference in your diet. I mean, if you're trying to lose 20 pounds, you probably should cut back on any wine for a while. Only for a while.
Only for a while. Okay, so what are some of the regions do you think are currently the most interesting, maybe for wine, that we've maybe overlooked?
The interesting types of wine?
Yeah, or just types and places.
Many. Yeah, there are so many. Let's keep in mind that in most places, if you look for wine, you're going to find, a couple dozen types of wine will make up 95% of what's on offer. And in white, you're going to have things like Chardonnay and Pinot Grigio and Riesling and, such as that. In red, you're going to have, again, the Cabernets and Pinot Noir and Merlot and so forth. And that's, really our wine world. But there are hundreds of types of wine made around the world. I mean, literally hundreds, if not thousands, actually. And they're made from different grapes. They're made in different regions. They're made, grown in different kinds of soil, and they taste very different. So I encourage people to explore a little bit. And one thing that everybody can benefit from is finding a clerk, a wine cellar in your local wine shop that you can develop a relationship with. Keep in mind that if I own a wine shop and you come in and ask for my advice, I'm going to steer you right because I'm a merchant. What I want you to do is come back in a second time and a third time and a fourth time. I want to make you a customer. I'm not going to do that by giving you bad advice. So if you come in and you say, hey, Jim, look, I tried this wine at someone else's party and I kind of liked it. I'd like to try something similar and my price level is $15 a bottle. Can you help me out? And that's the kind of stuff that a true wine cellar loves to hear because now they can work with you and suggest things. So you don't have to learn everything. You just have to have someone work for you who knows everything. Basically, if you go into a good wine shop and you ask for their advice and direction, you're putting them to work for you. So utilize that. Take advantage of their education. It's the easiest way you're ever going to have to learn about other wines that probably are going to fit both your palate and your budget.
Right. And how do you feel about like wine tasting? Because then you can, kind of get a.
Yeah, great. Oh, I love wine tastings. Yeah, I'm addicted to wine tastings. Unfortunately, with social distancing and such, we don't do that nearly as much as we used to. But wine tasting is great. It's a chance to try a lot of different wines. It's also, it's a fun, easy thing, Becky, to do at home. So, regardless of who or where you are, you've probably got what they call a bubble of people who you're comfortable being with. And so maybe that's you and your husband and Laura and hers, or, some significant others and some close family members, or just some friends, some neighbors. So get everyone together. Say, hey, look, everyone, let's all bring a bottle of wine and put it in a bag and tape it up so no one knows what the wine is. And then just pour it into glasses and try it all. Decide which one you like the best without even knowing what it is. And then, when you're done, peel that bag off and see what it is you found out that you like so much. And you might be very surprised, and it's just fun. It's a lot of socializing. It's a lot of good time. There's nothing serious about it. It's just a great way to try a bunch of things without having to foot the whole bill yourself, quite frankly.
Make it a fun game, I guess. That'd be kind of a fun game.
Sure.
Yeah. Jim, so going back, what are some of the, like pricey, like what's the most expensive wine you've ever heard of? And what was the price? I'm sorry?
Well, I think the most expensive wine I ever heard of was, interestingly enough, a fraudulent wine. But it was supposedly a bottle of wine that Thomas Jefferson had etched his name in the bottle. Thomas Jefferson is famous for having been a big wine lover. And, of course, he was our ambassador to France before he was president. And so he brought a lot of wine over from France. And a few years ago, there was a big brouhaha in that, we discovered a couple bottles from Jefferson's stock. And those were put up for auction, and some fella with too much money spent, I don't know, $380,000 a bottle, something like that.
Oh, about
about more than I'm making in a lifetime. But nonetheless, it was proven to be a fraudulent bottle of wine. So price means nothing. You can never be sure what you're getting. In everyday stuff, you can find wonderful wines really for under $20. You can find good wine for under $10. And then if you want to crank it up a little bit and you want to put out $25, $35, and you've got someone guiding you, again, refer back to that merchant or to a friend who may know wine. For $35, you can get wine that'll, roll your socks up and down. I mean, just wonderful stuff. So we hear all the time about, this one, and it was released at $800 a bottle, and this other wine from a chateau next door came out at $950 a bottle or $1,100 a bottle. That's fine, but you know what? You're never going to see that stuff. That's all allocated. That the wine world likes to talk about that stuff, but they drink very little of it. So don't worry about it. Just find something that you really like, and so maybe after a while you've just decided that you really like wines from the Southern Rhone, which is an area in France, and you can get some wonderful wine for $16, $17. You can get some beautiful wines, and you drink those for a little bit, and then you say, gee, I wonder what the next step up might be. Go talk to your guy or girl in the wine shop, tell them what you've been drinking, and say you'd like to step up and just try something that's similar, but maybe a little higher level of cost and quality. Let them guide you.
Okay, and kind of this, and maybe I should already know this, but I don't think. Okay, so when they take wine and it's like aged, okay, why is that better? Why do they say, we brought it down from the cellar and it was so-and-so aged or whatever? Why is that better than something that's just new? And then my other question is, the other part of that is there ever an expiration date? Is it like, oh my gosh, that's been down there, for way too long?
Right. Okay. Well, let me talk a little bit about aging wine. First of all, keep in mind that probably 90% of the wine, 95% of the wine that's made is not intended to be aged. It's ready to drink as soon as it's put in the bottle and it's in the store on the shelves. So aging is not something you have to worry about. Now, when it is aged, a lot of things happen chemically. Wine is a pretty complicated chemistry experiment, if you will. And over time, certain things happen in the wine. I won't get into all the science of it, but it shifts the flavors a little bit. So if a wine is very tannic, and if you're not familiar with tannins in wine, let's think about making a cup of tea. All right, just a regular cup of tea. Well, I'm sure you've had that experience where you left the tea bag in there for way too long because you were on a phone call or someone came to the door or whatever. And instead of steeping that tea for 2 or 3 minutes, you ended up steeping it for 10 or 15. And then you took a sip and it was really bitter and curled your lips up. All right? That is tannin. And the same compound is in wine. So when you have some very young wines, depending on what grape they are, they may have a lot of those tannins. As that wine ages, those tannins are actually reduced. And so the wine becomes a little softer and a little smoother. And that's what people are looking for when they age wine. Now, you certainly can't age it for too long. And there's nothing worse than having a great bottle of wine that you've been saving and saving and saving. Then you open and realize you saved it about 5 years too long. Because it will at some point begin to go downhill. So you're always better off drinking a wine too early rather than too late, if that's what you're worried about.
Oh, very interesting.
I say most wine is ready to drink right away.
Okay, now more questions. I'm sorry, I'm throwing them out at you.
That's what we're here for.
The grapes that we buy, like at the grocery, And there's a grape that's called cotton candy, and like it's a grape that's really sweet. It's like eating candy. Would that be? Are those the grapes that they like? I mean, maybe not. Or like, do they use those grapes that we know of at our grocery, or are they totally a different grape?
Well, they're generally different grapes, Becky. The one that is used that you might buy in the store, or you might be familiar with, is Concord grape. So I'm sure you've seen Concord grape jelly and most grape juice that's sold in the store, just regular old grape juice, is Concord grape juice. And they do make wine out of Concord grapes, but most wine grapes are a little different, genus. They're Vitis vinifera is the name of the grape, and it's a little bit different. They're European. Actually, they're kind of Asian. They originated in the area around Georgia, the country of Georgia, the country of Armenia, far eastern Turkey. That's where these grapes originated, and since then, of course, they've been spread all over the world, but they're a little different variety. So the grapes that you see in the store, like these cotton candy grapes, probably would not make good wine grapes for a lot of different reasons, but they're sure good eating.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely. Okay, and if you are, I have trouble saying the charcuterie board. Like if you're having wine, like let's say just maybe like having some friends over and something light, what pairs well with wine, like cheese or desserts, or can you eat sweets with wine or?
Well, you can, yeah. You want to have, if you're going to eat sweets with wine, you probably want to have a sweet wine, though. See, then they work together instead of competing with each other. So, you can have a sweet wine. There's a lot of wonderful sweet wines. Moscato is around. That's a nice sweet wine. You can go with something like a ruby port, which is a red wine that's quite sweet. So there are a lot of sweet wines around, and they are going to work best with desserts. And then, of course, you've got true dessert wines, which I mentioned earlier, that are just loaded with sweetness, and they're marvelous. I mean, you can't drink a lot of it. It's just too intense. But, locally you can get ice wine. Canada is a very big producer of ice wines. Then in France, you've got 2 or 3 Sauternes, Banyuls. Again, talk to someone in the store who can help direct you. So dessert wines and dessert are a wonderful accompaniment. If you're just going to have a charcuterie board or a cheese plate, something like that, keep in mind that generally white wines seem to really love eating softer cheeses. So if you have a brie or a camembert, something like that, that's a little soft, maybe a little runny even, white wine can often be very nice. But I just like red wine with everything. I'm crude. I think a dry red wine and chocolate are great together.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What about like
crazy
chocolate? Because chocolate's
some people call me crazy, but you know what?
No, chocolate goes with everything.
Well, chocolate does go with everything.
Yeah, Jim, absolutely.
Yeah. And actually, in 50 Ways to Love Wine More, there's a whole chapter talking about chocolate and wine and how similar they are in many different ways. So that's kind of interesting. See, knowing stuff like that helps you love wine more.
I love that. I think this is a great book, and I think this would be something that would be really interesting and to give a gift or for yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. On going back real quick, I do have a question. Is it etiquette? Can you add ice to your wine? Is that something that people do, or do you have to have it chilled, or what temperature do you serve wine?
Well, I'll be honest with you. If you're out to dinner with me, there's a real good chance that I'm going to order a nice big dry red wine because that's what I like. And there's also a real good chance that when you're not looking, I'm going to slip a couple ice cubes into it. So you do whatever pleases your palate. so important. Most red wine, in restaurant settings anyway, is kept and served a little too warm. And when you serve a wine that's a little too warm, what that does is it accentuates the alcohol in the wine. So it comes across as, I'll use this word because I know you're going to understand what I'm saying. It comes across as stronger and just kind of too alcoholic. So that's really just a function of temperature. So if you notch that temperature down a couple of degrees is all, it's going to be a much more enjoyable experience. It's going to be more, the flavors will be more integrated. Instead of getting a mouthful of alcohol, it's hot. You'll get lovely berry flavors and fruit flavors and things like that. Then on the other hand, in restaurants especially, we tend to serve white wines way too cold. Sometimes you get a white wine, it's like it just came, it was poured over a gigantic ice cube. And when you serve a wine too cold, it dumbs it down. The flavors don't come out. So if you get served a white wine that's too cold, you can just let it sit on the table for a few minutes and it will slowly warm up. Or wrap your hands around the bowl of the glass and warm it up a little bit that way. White wine should typically be served a little bit cooler than red wine, but not to the extremes that we often see it in restaurants. So, don't serve your red wines at room temperature if your room temperature is 85 degrees and you get the heat cranked up.
You know my home.
Yeah, and don't store your wine in a rack over your stove.
Oh, and I've seen those done before.
Oh, well, when I go to home remodeling stores or something, I'll often see a kitchen display and there's a wine rack and it's right over the stove. And you think, my God, that just ruins the wine. So wine generally does not like excessive heat. So try to keep it at least in a cool place. Doesn't have to be freezing, but just keep it somewhere cool. And that will be the best way to approach it.
All right, so Jim, I'm going to maybe I'm going to knock your socks off by knowing this, but okay, so a wine glass has the long stem because that's where you're supposed to hold it. I mean, like you said, if you want to warm it up, you put your hands around it, but you're not supposed to touch that top part of the glass because you're supposed to hold the bottom. Is that correct?
Well, you can touch it, but yes, the stem is there to hold it so that you're not putting your hands on the bowl.
Yay! I knew something. Come on, Jim, give me a little credit here. Come on.
Absolutely right. No, you nailed that one.
Yeah, look at that.
Yes, well, for two reasons actually, Becky. One is because if you're holding the bowl in your hand, you're going to warm it up.
Yeah.
All right. And again, we're not interested in most cases if the wine is served at the right temperature. We're not interested in warming it up. And the other thing is, wine is just a beautiful thing. Particularly if you're drinking in the daylight and you've got some sunshine or some good light, it's a gorgeous thing to look at. And if you're holding the bowl with your hands, you're going to get all the oils from your fingers smearing the glass up, and you're not going to be able to just enjoy the visual aspect of wine as much. You're absolutely right, which is why I don't really care for these little, what they call O glasses, ones with no stem on them. I guess that's all right for sitting around the pool or something, but other than that, I'd like to have a stem. That's exactly as you said. That's the way to do it.
Now, Jim, okay, I've got a few more questions. I hope you're okay on time. But are you personally, like, is that something your etiquette, like, really about making sure that each drink, whatever drink, which we're talking wine, because we do know you wrote a book about beer too, which is fun. But do you make sure that every glass has the right beverage in it? I mean, are you kind of a snob on that you want like if it's wine, you want a wine glass. If it's beer, you want a beer mug. I mean, are you kind of like that, or do you care?
Well, here, I'll illustrate my answer in a very Louisville kind of way.
Okay.
You would be amazed at how much bourbon I've had in wine glasses.
Okay. Okay, I got you. All right. Well, I wondered on that. Okay, and then going back to the wine.
Hold it.
I'm sorry?
I was just going to say, if the glass is handy and it holds what I want to drink, it's put to work.
I love that. Okay, awesome. There you go. There you go. Because I know there's some people that are real particular about
Absolutely.
that. Okay, going back, when you open up your wine and with the cork and everything and it blows, are you supposed to let it set in air, and why? If you do, I've seen that on a show.
Yeah. Well, letting it set in air just by pulling the cork isn't going to do much for you. Because think about it. If the wine bottle is full, it's right up to the bottom of the neck. So how much surface is really interacting with the air anyway? You know, maybe the surface of the top of a wine bottle that's full is as big as $50, right? So that's not going to do much good. If you have a wine that you want to air out, what you should do is pour it into a decanter or some bigger vessel and swish it around, and then it will air out. And what airing a wine will do is that it will allow the volatile compounds, which are very important in wine because they carry the aromas and the flavors. It will allow the volatile compounds to begin to come forward and to make themselves known. So if you have a certain type of wine, a big wine, and a young wine, and you just open the bottle and pour directly into your glass, an interesting phenomenon will take place. And that is that every glass will be better. And then when you get to the very last pour, you'll say, damn, now it's wonderful. Why didn't I wait? You know, so it's like the last taste is always the best. But you can get around that by just taking that bottle, and I don't care if you got an old pitcher that you normally make lemonade in. If that's all you got, pour it in that pitcher. Just pour it in there. It doesn't matter. If it's an $800 bottle or a $11 bottle, pour it in there and swish it around. And then pour it. You know, let it sit out for half an hour. So that oxygenation does help, particularly a big, young red wine, just become a little more mouth-friendly, if you will.
I was thinking, I know the movie Jaws. Remember Richard Dreyfuss? Remember whenever he opens it up, he's like, oh, let that air or something like that. Remember?
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, that was one of those things that people like to say about everything, not knowing what they were talking about.
Love that.
You know, part of oh, no, we don't drink sweet wine. That's for, you know, whatever, rookies or something. Or, no, well, we got to let it breathe, they say. Let it breathe.
Yeah.
You got to let the wine breathe. Well, you know, again, there are some wines where that's appropriate, but there are many, many wines where that's not going to make any difference whatsoever.
All right, one more question.
I think.
Jim.
Yep, go ahead.
Well, how do you feel about a wine like in a box? The boxed wine?
Yeah. Next question. No, you know what? Let me say one thing here.
Okay.
That is, the most important palate is yours.
There you go.
Only yours. Because you're the one who's paying for it, and you're the one who's drinking it. So if you run that over your palate and it puts a smile on your face, then that's appropriate. On the other hand, if you run it over your palate and you don't like it, then you don't like it. It doesn't matter either way. What the critics say or what the so-called experts say or what the snobs say makes no difference, because the only one who's going to drink that is you. So you please yourself. That's absolute. And if you have a box wine and you found some new label or new brand of box wine and you try it, you say, this is pretty damn good stuff, then go right ahead and enjoy it. That's all that matters.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's find out how we can get more information about your book. And I do want to keep in also reminding everybody that you do have, for those, you did not leave anybody out, for those beer drinkers too. You have a book for that too. And very interesting. Jim, you're very entertaining, and I like the way, that you personalize our conversation this morning. And let's find out how we get the book.
Well, the easiest way to get the book is just through Amazon.
Awesome.
Go to Amazon and look for 50 Ways to Love Wine More, or If you want to go by my name, it's spelled Laughren, and then it'll pull up both the Beer Drinker's Guide, as well as the 50 Ways, and a couple little ebooks in there too. A couple little shorty ebooks you can get as Kindles if you have a Kindle. One is the 15-minute guide to red wine. The other is the 15-minute guide to white wine. And they're real quick reads, but I'm telling you, they'll give you more information about wine than 90% of the world knows. So it's just a quick, easy way to go. I do have a website, jimlochran.com, that'll have a little more info for you. And if you ever have a question, anyone listening, anyone in your audience or yourselves, whatever, feel free to go to jimlochran.com and just send me an email or get in touch. Happy to help. Happy to talk about wine anytime.
I love that. And you can actually download a free wine aroma wheel.
Ooh.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can, which is really a lot of fun. You know, if you've had a wine and sometimes you taste it, you say, boy, I know what that taste is. I just can't identify it. Or I know what is that smell? What is that smell? And you just can't figure it out. The wine aroma wheel is really a great prompt to help you, suddenly go, oh, I know what that is. That's Aunt Mary's cherry pie. That's just how her cherry pie used to smell, with those cherries, cooked cherries, and that little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg and that crust on there. That smells just like that. So that's what an aroma wheel will do for you. It's a helpful tool.
So in preschool we had the color wheel, and now as an adults we have the wine aroma wheel. Very good, Jim. You are awesome. Keep up the great work, and let's find out if we write another book about something else, because I think you just have answered every question. I appreciate all that. And if you write anything else, please get with me and let's do this again.
I certainly will. And Becky, I want to thank you so much, and I want to wish you and Laura a wonderful New Year's Eve and a wonderful 2022.
All right, we'll raise our glasses and toast you at midnight, Jim, with something, okay?
Sounds great.
All right, thanks again.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right, very good. And I did not know that. I did not know that.
Know half of that.
Yeah. Very good information in his book for anybody that you're looking for something unique, maybe for a birthday or
Valentine's
Day. Oh, Valentine's Day.
Oh,
very good, Laura. Wow.
That would be a very good gift.
That would be an awesome gift. Yeah. for
Yeah,
sure.
maybe with a
Yeah.
bottle of wine.
There you go. A bottle of wine in that. That'd be perfect. Yeah. There we go.
Huh.
Very good, very good. All right, today is the 31st day of December, and let's see what's going on today. Of course, we know it's New Year's Eve.
Yes.
This is also Make Up Your Mind Day.
Well, yes.
Make up your mind. Make up your mind. National Champagne Day. Ooh. New Year's Eve. We said that. No Interruptions Day. Do you feel like when you're on a task, Laura, let's say you're doing something and you're really trying to get it done, and then when you get all these interruptions,
Absolutely.
do you feel that way? Sometimes
Yes.
it's hard to
And
get
then
back.
I forget. And
Yeah.
Every day.
I think that just happens all the time to me too.
Yeah.
One Voice Day.
Ooh.
Universal Hour of Peace Day. No, I don't like this. Unlucky Day. I don't want to think.
Oh,
No, we're not going to talk about that. World Peace Meditation Day. There we go.
Okay.
So get out and enjoy the last day. Isn't that crazy to
It
think?
is. It is.
I know.
Today would have been my dad's 76th birthday.
Aw.
So, yeah.
Oh, so he was almost a New Year's baby.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's something in that. Do you
Yeah.
think about when he was born, his mom? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because she would have been in the hospital or at home.
Absolutely.
Was
You
it
know,
New Year's Eve?
when he was still alive, he would always say on Christmas Day, 7 more days till my birthday.
I love that.
Because he didn't get a birthday party as a kid. They
Yeah,
were very
yeah.
poor. And
Yeah.
so I would always make him a peanut butter cake. That was his favorite.
Have mercy.
And I haven't made one since he passed. So this year I have bought all the ingredients and I'm going to make a peanut butter cake
Oh,
today.
you need to. You need to share that with your boys.
Yeah.
And share the memories and everything. I love that. I find, like, of course, my mom and dad too,
Mhm.
that you got to keep it going.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You got to keep things going. You got to keep things for memories. You don't ever want to forget. You know what I mean? And that's something that I always try to, keep going. I love that. Oh, so you're gonna make one?
We are. We're
Aw.
going to make one.
So you got peanut butter like on the icing or the cake, or
It's
is it all?
both. It's
Oh.
both. The one
Have
that
mercy.
he always liked is
Oh.
both. So
Was that like something he'd had as a child? Did his mom make, or did you
No,
just start making them? Or?
Linda Lee,
Yeah.
the tax lady that just recently passed, she actually gave me that recipe at a party one year. My dad had always said he loved peanut butter cake, and we had been there, as a family with her family, and he loved that cake, and so she gave me that recipe, and I made it every year for years.
Aw. I
So
love that.
yeah, that's it. She passed it down to me, and then
I love that. I don't think I've ever heard, honestly, till now. I've never heard of a peanut butter cake.
oh, Lance,
Oh, I can't even tell.
delicious.
I can't even. Oh, well, no, I think your voice, I was going to say is, I would not want to take away. I think that'll be a special moment. That'll be it. Yeah, I think so. That's good. That's cool. That's cool.
So
I'm glad you shared that. Yeah. And I think that we talk about this, holidays and everything. And of course, for those that have just lost loved ones, or for those that have those special loved ones that you had traditions with, and just trying to figure it out and and I think, like, I think you always, like, I'm not saying that it gets easier.
Mm-hmm.
You just learn how to adjust.
absolutely,
Yeah.
It's been almost 20 years since
Yeah.
my dad passed, and
Yeah.
so this is the first year. It's time. It's time to do it.
I love that.
But
And it was your timing.
it was my
Yeah,
timing,
exactly.
and that's what I always tell everyone. You know what? You'll do things again in
Your
your
time.
time.
Yeah, I love that. Well, that's going to be awesome. Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. So you're going to pair a glass of wine with it?
No.
Or
Probably
grape
not.
juice?
I did get some sparkling grape
Grape juice,
juice. We got
yeah,
a couple of different flavors. My kids think that's just great.
Mhm.
So
It's really good.
Yeah.
I like grape juice.
they
yeah.
love it.
I like a good
So,
sweet grape juice.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
I bought a bottle of peach wine at
Uh-huh.
Huber's
Oh, I
back
was gonna
in the
ask if you-
summer,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and I've still not been confident enough to open it because I'm like, ooh, if it's not very sweet, I'm not gonna.
Not going to like it. Now, I actually heard someone that did that, and they bought the peach wine, and they took fresh peaches, cut them up,
Yes.
and then put them like in that, and that would make it a little sweeter, I guess, if that's something. Yeah. Well, that'd be, yeah. You have
I
to.
don't know. I doubt I open it, but it's been sitting in the little.
Well, it's
rack
there.
for-
It's sitting there. That's right.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
Got the occasion. There you go.
Very pretty.
Well, I didn't know all that stuff, and I'm a coffee drinker.
Yeah.
Seems like that. I mean, usually you're one or the other. Or I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying the lines can't cross,
Oh, absolutely.
but it seems like I'm more of a.
I would rather drink coffee 24/7.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and there's so many like flavored coffees.
Oh,
You know what I mean? And I'm kind of a like knowing like where the coffee beans are from. There's a big difference. I mean,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've done like tried to do different places, different countries that have different kinds of coffee and all different tastes. Some are a lot stronger, some are a little bit,
Oh, yeah. And the creamers are
Oh.
different. And then, sometimes I go out on a whim and I'll get an iced coffee.
Have mercy. Yeah. Those are good.
You never know.
You never know. You get crazy.
Maybe even add sweet cream foam
Like crazy.
or something.
But with that cake, with that peanut butter cake, I'm telling you right now, I'd have me a big old cup of coffee sitting there with that cup.
That's the point.
I would be a very happy lady.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So what are you fixing for New Year's?
I have no idea. I don't know. Okay, hang on. So is it okay? You're supposed to have black eyes and peas, right? Or
Black-eyed peas.
black-eyed peas and corned beef.
And cabbage.
Cabbage. Yes. Now, do you eat it tonight or it's tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Do you have all that?
I do.
Look at you. Always
do.
do. Now, do you put a dime or a quarter or a penny or what is that you put in it? Remember, you're supposed to put something in it.
Yeah, I can't find.
It's hard to find change anymore.
Yeah, that's the truth.
That to me is a
That's for
luxury if
sure.
you have change on that.
But yes, we always do the cabbage and corned beef, the black-eyed peas, and then I always make some sort of like cornbread.
Oh,
or
have mercy.
corn muffin, something like that with it.
I might stop in and just have a little bit of a
Absolutely.
nibble just so I'll get my good luck.
Absolutely. My kids, they will eat
Well, that
one
guarantees
black-eyed
me
pea.
good. They'll eat one black-eyed pea.
One.
Well,
Every year.
There you
They've
go.
done it since they
maybe
were
that does them enough for the whole
super
year, makes their
small
luck good, you
and-
know. Well, we all are ready for some
Yeah.
good luck, right?
Yes.
For sure. So that'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
I have done it, and I bought it before, and I've done it,
Mhm.
but it's not something that I always do. You know what I mean? But I do like it. I love corned beef and cabbage. And there was a place in that would serve the corned beef cabbage, and then they'd have like a baked potato, and it was huge baked potato,
Mhm.
and or boiled potato. Oh, so good, so good. And of course, I love butter and salt. Mm.
Tonight I have to make
Oh yeah,
for
what do
New
you?
Year's Eve. We always have meatballs and queso, and we
Oh.
watch the ball drop.
Look at you. So you're back at it again.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, you might be winning because I don't know that I'm going all that far. But we did have really good. For some reason, I don't know how I did it. I made good meatballs, and that was. Do you put yours with red sauce or how do you?
It's you use ketchup, you use sugar, you
Oh.
use white vinegar, you use Worcestershire sauce.
Oh, have mercy.
You mix all of that. Super good.
Yeah, that sounds
Kind of
so
a
good.
bit of sweet, but a
Mhm.
little bit of tangy.
Yeah, real good. Sounds real good.
Mhm.
Well, that'd be wonderful snack food stuff. I don't know. I have not even you know. I don't know. You know, a bag of Doritos and fend for yourself. No, everyone for this. No, I don't know. I've got to figure something out. I'll work up
I don't
something.
know.
I
You
don't
know, sometimes I do the little smokies with the barbecue
No.
sauce.
Yeah, Abby brought those
Super
Christmas Eve.
easy.
Those are so good. They always go over so well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, everybody
My
loves them.
sister wraps them in bacon
Oh.
and then bakes them with brown sugar. Have mercy.
Now I'm
They
telling you
are
right now, and that's a lot of work.
delicious. Yes, it is.
I want to thank her.
She does
I've
it
not even had
every
one,
year, and they are so good.
but I want to just say she goes all out.
Absolutely, she
I mean,
does.
yeah, and I applaud people that do that because it's one thing, and to take that bacon and wrap that each one of them, yeah.
Every single
Yeah.
one of them, and
Yeah.
she makes a ton.
Something that I've not had in a long time that I was thinking would be so good: pigs in a blanket.
Ooh,
You can't beat a good pig in a blanket.
My
I'm
kids
sorry.
love them. And
You can't beat. They're
no,
delicious.
now the crescent rolls,
Oh.
you can get Hawaiian, like the Hawaiian
Yes.
roll crescent
Oh.
rolls. You have to try them
I need to.
with pigs in a blanket. Yum.
I'm just simple on that. I mean,
Delicious.
you just can't beat a good pig in a blanket. You know what I mean? And it's just good.
I know he loves them.
Well, you can't go wrong. I'm with him on that.
When he's going on and on, I'm so hungry. I'm like, you just ate a couple hours ago, and then I'll make those, and
Yeah.
he's in heaven.
Oh, and they're easy. They're quick, and they're on the fly. You can grab it. I mean, quickly have little
Absolutely.
stuff there, and yeah, it's something that's very convenient.
Mhm.
But I think yeah, and of course, I'm a firm believer too in using the deli and the bakery.
Oh, absolutely.
There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, cold cuts.
You know, I just thought we haven't done the buffalo chicken dip. in a
We
long
did.
time.
We did. Yes, I did. I did on Christmas Eve, and I'm telling you now, that always just. And I got some the tortilla chips. I got them in red and green, and they were so pretty, Laura.
Oh, how
They
cute.
they were real heavy, like a dark green
Yeah.
and a real dark red, and they were delicious. And anyway, but it was more the looks. You know what I mean? It just made everything look so festive, so pretty.
Aw.
Yeah. So I like to do that. But I think it's gonna be, I've heard it's funny because, and we talked about New Year's resolutions. Do you have anything in mind or?
Not really. I don't know yet.
Well, we talked about that the other day,
Mhm.
and you kind of got to do it on your own timing.
Yeah.
And just, and also stick with kind of one. Don't have
Yeah.
I remember used to having a list.
Oh, absolutely. And none of it got
Oh,
accomplished.
things I needed to work on, things I needed to do.
I really would like to focus on like one day a month, just to do something I want to do,
I
rather
love
than
that.
something I have to do.
And you should, because you work hard, you put a lot into it. And I find this, and I think we talked about this all the time,
Mhm.
people that give and people that are caregivers or giving or whatever your situation is, you don't take time for yourself.
Mhm.
Lord, that's brilliant. You need to do that. And I would not even be upset if you did 2 or 3 days. I don't think that's wrong and that's something that I have to do too. You know what I mean? And I'm having over here, I'm the pot calling the kettle black,
Yeah.
whatever you call it. because I'm guilty of it too.
We will have to hold each other accountable.
Yeah, there we go. Or maybe we just need to take a day and do that. You know what I mean? We need to do a little something, and I think that would be good, just to kind of clear your mind and get recharge your batteries, and then. But I think that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I give you till February. You're like that, because, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah,
over.
I mean, I love the idea, and I think it's great for you, and I hope you do. I hope that it's like September, October, and you're like, Becky, I'm still doing it.
Still doing this.
Or maybe we're still doing it. Yeah, but I would give us till February, we're done.
Probably. Or we'll be having tag-alongs or something.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The kids are coming with us.
Yep, we gotta bring some kids with us.
Gotta bring children with us. Always. Yeah, that's exactly right. But that's okay. That's all right. I guess it's fun. Numbers are fun.
Absolutely.
Having many with us, right? Yeah. Why are you doing that? Why are you? Yeah. Fun. But anyway, I want to wish you a very happy New Year.
You too.
I'm excited to see what 2022. We know that that we're still very, just because we go to bed and wake up the next day, we're still into where we're at with
COVID and with this whole mess
new variant.
And I do want to say, please just think about your healthcare workers while you're out having fun this weekend, because they're still working. They're still fighting that fight, whether you want to believe it or not. Drive by a hospital and just look.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with doing your social distancing, but be wise. If you go out or whatever you do, just be wise on how you do that, and if you go to a get together, just, maybe be careful, and if you hear someone coughing, run.
Yeah, keep the distance.
Run. Like if someone gets choked.
Yeah.
It's like the most awkward thing.
So bad.
It is so bad.
What if they needed the Heimlich and you're running?
Or like if you're somewhere, and I've been with people that think they're funny, and they'll just like make themselves cough, and just to see everyone turn around.
The reactions.
Yeah, I could see your boys doing that.
Yeah.
I could see your boys.
Oh yeah, I could see it.
Doing a fake cough just to watch how quick you can clear a room.
Oh my goodness. Don't give them any ideas.
I could see them doing it. For some reason, that's great. That's good. Well, it's going to be fun. I don't know. I'm going to try it. Yes, I'm going to stay up and watch the ball drop. I'm going to try. I like to see all the performers, and I hope that they're good. And I hope they keep it interesting, and I hope the music is good.
Absolutely.
I hope it's not.
I have to take a power nap to make it to midnight.
There you go. Yeah. Or set your alarm like at 11:30 or 11:45, so you hit it. So you might have to do that. Yeah. So we will see. We shall see. But anyway, and I want to thank our sponsors and everybody in Salem Crossing Medical. You guys are rock stars with us, and we're able to do what we do, keep the lights on, and do the ball games and everything because of you and all the programming that we do. And we want to thank you and all of our wonderful sponsors. Very blessed. And, we want to be a service to our community and want to continue doing. That's what this was based on. And I believe wholeheartedly that this is what we want to continue on in the new year, being that community service and being that community station that we can service our community in information and maybe some entertainment.
Absolutely.
Some entertainment and anyway, and also bringing local, bringing our local, highlighting our youth and every age,
Absolutely.
So that's what we continue doing. That's our pledge to go into the new year, I guess. Yeah. So, Laura, let's thank our sponsors this morning.
All right, we have Walmart, Meadowview Healthcare, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, Skyline Suites, Kentucky Anna Cat and Core, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, and Fox Purley Wealth Management.
Yay! Thank you to our great sponsors. Laura, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Celebrity Home Loans in Salem, where everyone gets treated like a star. Come experience the star treatment with us. You'll never go back to the ordinary home loan experience again. Stop in today and see Dennis Baxter, branch manager of the Salem office, to start working on a new home loan or refinancing today. They serve nearly 50,000 families with over $15 billion in loans. Stop in and see Dennis and his staff. They're ready to work with you today. As a star, you expect the best, and that's all Celebrity Home Loans has to offer. Nothing off the rack. We're talking fine living, designer fashion home loans around here. Come by today and see Dennis or Autumn at 18 Public Square, Suite A, or call for an appointment. 812-883-0670. Remember, at Celebrity Home Loans, you're the star.
The Lutheran Mission Federation and St. John Lutheran Church in Seymour, Indiana, invite you to pray the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
There are many reasons to choose Skyline Suites Assisted Living. The number one reason, it feels like home. At Skyline Suites, we offer a fresh approach with compassionate care, which allows you as much independence or assistance as you want. When you begin to think about assisted living, there are many questions like how much it costs and how long you have to commit. Skyline Suites in Salem offers affordable living with no contract. We're truly unlike anything else. Schedule a tour with me, Ryan, by calling 812-320-3761.
It's fall festival season here at Kentucky and at Cat & Core in Salem, Indiana. Have an old junk car, copper, brass, aluminum wheels, old brake rotors, automotive batteries, or sheet aluminum, or even an old junk catalytic converter? Let Kentucky and Cat & Core put a little more spending money in your pocket today. To schedule an appointment to sell your scrap, just contact us at 812-946-0774. Thank you for your business, and God bless.
Court is back in session, where the judge wears stripes, and both teams are ready for a heated debate. No objections, no filibusters here. Only fast-paced, in-your-face basketball. Catch all the action right here on the IU Sports Network from Learfield.
Dr. Mindigun invites you to her new high-tech office in Salem at 1350 South Jackson Street. Her office is a part of Dr. Brad Black's Eye Associates, regarded as one of the leading eye care centers in the United States. The combined practice eye doctors and surgeons have helped thousands of people enjoy better vision. Dr. Mindigun is committed to excellence because the people from Kentuckiana turn to her for answers, and patients turn to Dr. Gunn for the best eye care treatment available. If you're experiencing vision problems or having problems with your current glasses or contacts, give her a call today at 812-896-1717. Dr. Mindigun is seeing patients for the latest in advanced eye care. You can get glasses, contacts, or prescription sunglasses. Come visit Dr. Gunn at Dr. Black's Eye Associates in their new high-tech paperless office today. They are closed on Mondays, open Tuesday 9 to 6, Wednesday 8 to 5, Thursday 9 to 6, Friday 8 to 5, and every other Saturday 8 to noon. Most insurances are accepted and affordable payment options can be worked out with you. To schedule your next eye appointment, again, call 812-896-1717. You'll be glad you did, and she'll be glad to take care of your eyes.
The Boilermakers are going bowling. Here we go.
O'Connell throws it over the middle. A pass is caught. David Bell hammered down by the goal line. Is he in? Yes, he is. Touchdown, Boilermakers.
Tune in Thursday, December 30th, as your Purdue Boilermakers take on Tennessee. Live from Nashville, Tennessee, this is the Music City Bowl. Coverage begins at 2, right here on the Boilermakers Sports Network. From Learfield.
Touchdown, Boilermakers!
Kentucky and Cat & Core LLC and KCC Dumpster Service is now doing light demolition. Have an old barn that needs torn down, an old house, or an old mobile home that needs removed? Give KCC a call to schedule a quote. We are licensed and insured. Contact us at 812-946-BOTCHERS.
Brownstown, Seymour, North Vernon, the region's rock classic station, 97.9, 97.9, WSL. I'm not the man I once was. But a son. Welcome to the Rick and Bubba Show.
I think about how I can change into what I said it was going to become and back up what I said. My vision is really just change my best every single day. You surround yourself with turds, you're headed towards Turdville. You surround yourself with elite people, you are headed towards elite things. We're not celebrating undefeated. We are celebrating how we're growing higher every single day.
Everybody look right. Say, I believe in you. I believe in you. Look left. Say, I believe in you. I believe in you. Look right. Say, I love you. I love you. Look left. Say, I love you. I love you. Earlier in the week, we set out on our journey. right, we packed up our ship, set out on our journey for this harbor that you see today. And where we're at right now, both ships in the harbor, pointed at each other, cannons looking right down the barrel at each other, man. I want you to shoot that cannon first. You fire first, you start fast, you accelerate in the middle, and you finish strong. This is our family. This is what we have. I want you to be you, but I want you to be the best version of you can possibly be. It's hard to knock out the champion. It's hard. It's hard. Well, it doesn't happen very often. But you have the champion on the ropes, man. You got him on the ropes.
Yeah, how about that? Felt like y'all needed a little pump me up. 7 minutes after the hour, it is a Cook's Pest Control Best of edition. I am Helmsy. It's the Rick and Bubba Show. Well, rickandbubba.com, that has not changed. Everything you need to know from events, social media, platforms, how to listen. Oh, we got that store too. Don't forget about the store. There's merch. Probably some new things coming in 2022, but why wait? Get there now, rickandbubba.com. I normally do not do this, and what I mean by that is play bits that where I'm the focus. But this is very, I don't know, it's not positive. I get a little emotional. But I'm playing it because of Hayden Adams. He chimed in this morning in an email. He said, hey, Mr. Helms, love the fact that he addressed me as Mr. Helms. He probably knows that I'm probably a little older than him, and I think that's a lost art, by the way, a little respect. He tells me Merry Christmas, and he says, hey, me and my little brother-in-law and the boys are duck hunting this morning. And we'd love to hear Good Night, Look at That for a little laugh. So, Hayden, here you go, buddy. I hope y'all are tearing them up.
I think it's a good time for us after the last segment to do a public service announcement. And I hope what you just heard is proof positive. Something must be done to do in the battle against Rude Tourette's. I mean, something must be done. I mean, we must stop and help those that suffer from RT, Rude Tourette's.
That is your inability to withhold your thoughts to yourself.
Right, and you just,
especially if it's a rude,
you just blurt things out.
Uncaring thought that must come out the minute you think of it.
We transitioned from a lighthearted story about Skype and Microsoft, opened the door for Helms to really come before the audience and pour out his emotions of the season.
An open door to his soul.
To his soul on this taking on coaching baseball and what it ended up meaning to him. He just said, I mean, seconds before Rude Tourette's clipped it, that he and his wife were talking on the phone and how emotional it was. And right at the pinnacle of the most emotional part, over the top of him, good gosh, look at that! Yeah, because Chaz Bono, shirtless, comes up behind Helms on a screen, and Greg Burgess, not being normal, and just saying, hey, in a minute, I'd like to talk about that, after Helms finishes his emotional conversation. Good gosh, I'd rather see a dog eat its puppy.
All of that was in about a 10-second window on the show, and we talked earlier about how we're trying to destroy radio as we know it. Speedy, can we hear the playback of that?
Helms, I'm sorry.
I'm used to it by now.
All right, so
when you live with someone that has Rude Tourette's like Greg, you're used to being clipped like you were in T-boned at an intersection.
So you know who we forget, though? Those who have to live with it.
I know it. That's Rick. That's the silent sufferer.
That's the silent. Those who live with people who have Rude Tourette's.
There's two things we have discovered on this show that I hope we get credit for long term, Rick. One was the plight of people who suffer from pointed toe syndrome and those that suffer with Rude Tourette's.
I remember we've asked Greg to leave the studio, so if Helms would like to finish the story, if it's something right. Yeah,
he can go back to the kitchen, the whole court back there.
If you missed the moment, here's Helms doing his heart-wrenching recap.
I'm sorry, Helms, I apologize.
That
is my call, because he's liable to do it again right in the middle.
How about this? Nobody's as big a supporter of Helms on this baseball thing.
Greg, but you know what? But you still suffer from Rude Tourette's, so you... All right, yeah, you know what?
Again, we can't even do the segment because of the RT.
And then you have Speedy, who's the guy who keeps buying the alcoholic drink.
Yeah.
Oh, Rick, hold on.
All right.
600. He's editing right now. He's fine.
No, you got your name.
I'm sorry, Helms.
You're good.
You're good. Do you realize that Helms was just at the pinnacle?
I mean, he was somebody's wife and him crying together on the phone.
But I don't mean.
Good gosh, look at that!
Y'all do that all the time.
I'd rather see a dog eat its puppy.
Well, I would. Y'all do that all the time, though.
We don't Rude Tourette's over someone who
Rick,
does
the first step in dealing with RT is admitting there's a problem.
Y'all do that all the time.
All right, Rick, can you please